All right. You know, long weekend, tough travel, very tough travel, but that's kind of a different subject. But very appreciate Florida, appreciate Coach Mullen and Scott Strickland, their AD, for bringing us down there. They were first class all the way, how they treated us, a great environment. I would tell you that of all the places we've been over the years, that was certainly the loudest there at the end of the first quarter and the second quarter now, and it affected us. Okay, so I can imagine what it's like in there on SEC Saturdays, but it was very loud, and we didn't handle that very well offensively. We struggled with the communication. You know, it was already hard enough to block them, and then when you can't get off the ball, you know, on time, you're already, you know, behind. So that was a struggle, but very proud of our defense. Certainly the first half, I thought we played extremely hard. Thought we tackled well. You know, so very happy with those guys. And that's something to build on as you go forward. We had a couple times, you know, maybe to you know, to get a score, and you know, John turned the ball over. You know, that was just hand that ball off one time. So he'll learn from that. And then we got it down there on another big play and kind of shot ourselves in the foot. So I can't do that against that quality of defense. So there was a lot of good individual efforts. What a great tackle by Akins. I mean, that was a really nice open field tackle. You know, there's times where we had a couple busts and they're extremely fast and they ran past us on the play action on the one time. But great experience for the players, certainly was. I hate the score turned out like that, and we couldn't punch a couple in. But you know, you go down, you're 17-0 at halftime, and you know, playing hard, playing extremely hard, and then they ratcheted up there in the third quarter and put us away. So put that one behind us. Move on to a quality non-conference game this week, Southern Illinois. Who's coming off a big an FBS win on the road at UMass, and they played extremely well. You know, so I'm sure they're feeling good about themselves as well. They should be, and you know, they're back at home with us coming in there. So we're excited about it. Great test these first 3 games. I mean, what a kind of find out about our football team before we get into conference play, before we get to the off week next week. We came out of the game relatively healthy, so that was a good thing. Okay, so just some bumps and bruises and more tired than anything with the travel. But we'll turn the page and move on today. Team meeting today. Move on to this week.
That's the thing we talked a little bit last week going into this game, what you wanted to get out of it.
Right.
That you could use the next several weeks.
Yeah.
Now, what did you get out of it?
Right. I think every play that John Bacchus gets to play quarterback is growth. Okay, and he made a couple plays. He seems to, you know, kind of find a way, but those are opportunities for him to grow. So thought that was good. I thought the defensive line, that was another opportunity with new faces, you know, with new linebackers, you know, new safeties. You know, really only 4 starters returning on that unit. For those guys to continue to play together and played a lot of players on defense. I think all the defensive linemen that traveled, I think 8 of them at least played, 7 or 8 of them, you know, at least played. I think we played 5 to 6 linebackers. I think we played, you know, probably at least 5 safeties. Okay, at least 4 corners. So a lot of guys on defense got to play. So those are things you grow from. Certainly so. Those are things that those guys are able to come in today and see themselves on tape and make the corrections, not just from practice tape. So those things did good. There's a bond that's created, win or lose, when you travel like that. And I told the players, it seems insignificant, okay? But when guys are loading, you know, the bus is leaving out of here at 3:30 a.m. on Thursday, and you have no issues. Then it leaves out Sunday morning after the loss. The bus left the hotel at 5:30 a.m. and you have no issues. That's part of your football team growing up, in my opinion. So those things that pay dividends down the road, whether it's this week or weeks to come.
After a long travel week, how does it affect the schedule for this
Yeah.
week?
You know, you try to ignore it, but it can be significant if we don't handle it right in how we practice this week. You know, the kids got in yesterday I guess we were back by 11, so they got the rest of the day off. You know, now they're up and moving around today to class and things. As a coaching staff, it's a grind for you, but you know, next week's an open week for us. If we can get to that week, you know, with a good practice this week and with enough preparation, but also with, you know, fresh legs and stuff, and being able to play to a high standard, to a high level, then that's what you hope happens, and then then you get ready for kind of a stretch run there through your conference through your conference schedule.
Can you push through when you're practicing? Can you push a little extra and kind of work, get through that time knowing? And everybody
Yeah,
knows you got
that's what you hope. There can be a fine line, okay? As a head coach, I'll keep that in mind this week, and there'll be some opportunities to maybe take off a period of practice here and there. That's good. We won't be rushed on Friday traveling this week because we're staying in Cape Girardeau on Friday and then busting over the rest of the trip on Saturday morning. So hopefully I'll manage it well enough with using the experience that I've had and get these guys ready to go. But today, I'm sure our players are excited to come in and watch the tape today because they're going to see, obviously they played a top 10 team in the country, and you guys know this. There's a difference between FBS and SEC, or Power 5. There's a difference, and then there's a difference between that and the top 10 teams to 5 teams in America. The speed's just totally different. Okay, so that's not like some of the teams we've played and able to move around. So, like I said, there's some clips I could show you that you'd say, man, that's good stuff right there, something to build off of. And I certainly believe that our center, I also knew some second game at center. Okay, and there's some things he did. I was very proud of him. Okay, which that's got to pay dividends this week and going forward. So, there is some positive things. Losses, there's no, loss is a loss and it sticks with these kids the rest of the year. But as you're growing, that's some good stuff. That's comforting.
Are there any issues with injuries after playing a big SEC team like that?
No, we came out relatively okay. I hate that for them. I think they had a couple guys go down, and that's what's so crazy about the game. I get asked that all the time. Is it more? Are you more injury prone playing the Power 5s and stuff? No, it just comes in. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It just comes in different waves, and unfortunately, I hit them, but we were able to get out okay of this one.
Looking at this SIU team, obviously played 2 games, throw it around a little bit. Are they more balanced on offense? What have you seen from these 2 games?
Yeah, I mean they were pretty balanced this past week, and they ran the ball effectively, especially a couple times out of Wildcat. I've concentrated more on their defense. Being an offensive coach, new defensive coordinator. Pretty multiple on defense, very good in the secondary. Get themselves moving up front, causes some identification problems, in your mic points, and so be a good football game. It is. They're a good quality team, Missouri Valley team. Play against quality FCS opponents every week, so it'd be a good test for both of us.
Have they shown you enough in film to keep you from chasing ghosts when you start scouting?
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, new defensive coordinators, new coordinators, so really just working off these first 2 games. Normally you'd have a 4-game breakdown and go back to last year, but that doesn't do you any good. New guys in the building, new scheme, so you've got about 80 clips, competitive clips from the first 2 games that you're getting your game plan on. But at the end of the day, you can't recreate yourself from the standpoint of, you're not a new offense week after week or new defense week after week. And, there's some things that are fundamentally the same, based on if a team plays a 4-man front, plays quarters behind it, even though there's some idiosyncrasies that each defense has, they do something a little bit different. It's still within the interpretation of how you attack that style of defense.
How do you fill out your travel roster when it comes to took some true freshmen
Yeah.
who weren't necessarily Florida kids, but what is it, a reward system after
Yeah.
your depth issue?
We had 75 spots, and then once you kind of went to your 2 deep, and some positions had 3, then you put your Florida kids on there. Then there was 4 or 5 spots left. That was kind of a reward system based on guys that give good looks each week on the scout teams, or guys that had a great summer and their attitude makes us better on the football team. And I visited with some of the guys that are going to be good players that we didn't take, and just made sure that they understood that it's not a punishment, but there's some other guys that got some rewards, and so I was happy with how we traveled. I hope those kids enjoyed that experience.
Can you use this trip to prepare for your conference slate, because it'll be a similar travel?
Yeah, you can look at it like that, kind of. The expectations of the new kids should be, kind of met, this week. So now that they know, what it takes, and it's a relatively short bus trip for us. Certainly, just spend the night over in Cape on Friday. I think now everybody understands, and our coaches did a good job Friday or especially Saturday with meetings. And we talked about it's not just about that Florida game like I talked about earlier in the week. It's about using those walkthroughs for this week and the next week and next week. I mean, it never ceases to amaze me how you don't know what all that your players don't know until they're in front of people, and whether it be in a game or in a walkthrough, and they go to the right person. I mean, there's alignment assignments on every snap, and if you're that second team guy or that third team guy, until you're actually doing it, you can sit in those meetings all day long and nod your head. Oh, I know. Well, you don't know until you actually do it. So those are simple things. They sound simple just saying them, but that's how you teach it. Some guys just don't figure it out until they actually have to do it.
Thanks.
And good. Thanks, guys.